Dark Myth WuKong Chapter 20 The Reason. Because the sacred ground of Buddhism, the Western Heaven Spirit Mountain, had become a field of ruins. Pavilions, terraces, towers, pagodas, temples, all destroyed. What drove Tathagata craziest was the stench of blood and resentful souls permeating the entire Western Heaven. The dignified Spirit Mountain was now no different from a ghost realm. This was the heart of Buddhism, the holy land for all disciples, yet it was destroyed like this. To restore its former glory would take at least 1,000 years. Moreover, this was an utter humiliation that would prevent Buddhism from holding its head high. He had led troops to ambush another stronghold, only to have his own home ambushed and ruined in a flash. Tathagata didn't know if he had won or lost this battle, profited or suffered a loss. Although he occupied the celestial court, meaning the eastern Purva and southern Jambudvipa continents now belonged to Buddhism, adding to the already held western Aparagadanya. Owning 3 of the 4 great continents was extremely beneficial for spreading Buddhist teachings and attracting followers. But Spirit Mountain was destroyed, forcing the entire Buddhist sect to relocate to the celestial court. Furthermore, the most crucial target this time, Sun Wukong, had been rescued by Tang Sanzang at the last moment. He had meticulously plotted for 2,000 years, solely to seize the spiritual essence of the 5-colored divine stone from Sun Wukong. Yet, this time, he had barely managed to absorb less than 1/10. For the current Tathagata, 1/10 of the spiritual essence was useless, like a grain of sand in the desert. Tathagata gazed at Spirit Mountain with a dark expression, then gritted his teeth, and suddenly waved his hand, saying,
"All Buddhist soldiers, heed my command. At any cost, annihilate the demon soldiers. No prisoners needed. Kill them all."
2 million Buddhist soldiers, each with bloodshot eyes, charged towards Spirit Mountain. A massive, overwhelming tide. Their momentum like a flood. These were Buddhist soldiers, driven to frenzy. Even if faced with mountains of knives and seas of fire, they would charge without hesitation. This was the terrifying power of Buddhist faith. 2 million against 600,000. 2 million elite troops versus 600,000 weary soldiers. The outcome was obvious. Although the joint demon and celestial court forces knew defeat was certain, not a single one retreated. Everyone fought with the determination to die. In the end, the Buddhist soldiers were naturally victorious. The joint demon forces, including the great demon red-bottomed horse monkey, were completely wiped out. Not one survived. Not one surrendered. Not one fled. The Queen Mother of the West from the Celestial Court was captured by Guanyin Bodhisattva and imprisoned. With this, the great war between the demon race and the Celestial Court officially concluded. The Celestial Court and the demon race were almost entirely annihilated. The demon race's sacred ground, Flowerfruit Mountain, was destroyed, and the entire Celestial Court was occupied by the Buddhist sect. Although Buddhism also suffered heavy losses, with Spirit Mountain destroyed, they were ultimately the final victors of this war, becoming the sole superpower in the 3 realms. At this time, Sun Wukong was still unconscious. It seemed Neja's 5-colored divine stone, forcefully entering his body, earlier had caused immense damage. Furthermore, Tathagata and the others later extracting 1/10 of his spiritual essence had inflicted fundamental harm upon Sun Wukong. Such damage could not be healed in a short time. Tang Sanzang's condition was also dire. He had already been injured during the battle with Tongtian. Later, when Tathagata ambushed Flowerfruit Mountain, Tang Sanzang forcefully activated the Petals of Conversion, worsening his injuries. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been captured by Tathagata. But in the end, seeing Sun Wukong's life in peril, Tang Sanzang finally went mad. He desperately tried to activate the Petals of Conversion, but due to his severe injuries and depleted magic power, he couldn't. Ultimately, Tang Sanzang fused the Petals of Conversion into his own body. Only then could he activate it, using the dance of petals filling the sky to buy time to escape. Although the two finally escaped, Tang Sanzang had been near death multiple times. After an unknown amount of time, Sun Wukong finally, slowly regained consciousness. The moment he opened his eyes, all memories from before fainting flooded his mind, causing his head to throb as if splitting apart. Among the flood of memories, one particular segment startled Sun Wukong. Suppressing the headache, Sun Wukong closed his eyes again. That memory transformed into a voice.
Sun Wukong, I am Neja. When you hear this memory, it means you have survived. One and all, don't be hasty. Listen to me. Although I know you have many questions, time is short, so I will only tell you the most important things. First, my Neja's true form is also a piece of the five-colored divine stone, just that my piece isn't as large as yours. The five-colored divine stone was what Goddess Nuwa refined back then to mend the heavens, divided into 5 elemental attributes: metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. However, while refining the stones, Goddess Nuwa inadvertently foresaw that the demon race of later generations would face a devastating calamity. Therefore, to leave a sliver of hope for the demon race during this disaster, Goddess Nuwa deliberately left behind 5 pieces of the 5-colored divine stone, one for each attribute, when mending the heavens. She imbued these 5 divine stones with a trace of her own Nuwa power. Furthermore, within the earth attribute divine stone, Nuwa even infused a trace of the great god, Pangu's chaotic energy. After mending the heavens, Nuwa sensed she was about to merge with the Tao due to her immense merit. So she scattered the 5 spirit stones throughout the 3 realms, hoping they would one day take human form, cultivate the Great Way, and aid the demon race during their great tribulation, preventing their extinction. I, Neja, am the smallest piece, the metal attribute divine stone, while you, Sun Wukong, are the largest piece, the earth attribute divine stone. However, due to an accident, fate led me into the womb of my mother, Lady Yin, making me the earliest to awaken among the 5 divine stones, and paradoxically, I was born with a human body, not a demon one. That's why I later took my own life in human form, used lotus roots for a body, and finally became part of the demon race. Although I knew early on that you were that divine stone, I wasn't sure if you would help the demon race. Only today did I learn that you truly did not disappoint. Originally, we were supposed to inherit this memory only after all 5 divine stones had awakened. But for some reason, the Great Tribulation arrived early, only the 2 of us appeared, and you didn't receive the inherited memory. This indicates that an unforeseen incident related to time must have occurred. Therefore, I reverted to my divine stone form and merged into your body to help you escape at the final moment. I know the demon race is now nearly extinct. Your next mission is to search the entire 3 realms to find the other 3 divine stones and fuse all 5 into the complete 5-colored divine stone. Only then will you have enough power to turn the tide, defeat Buddha Tathagata, and restore the might of our demon race. The locations of the other 3 divine stones have been imprinted in your memory. All right, there's no more time. This last shred of my power is about to dissipate. Remember, Sun Wukong, you cannot fail, and you will not fail. You must find the other 3 divine stones, then defeat the Buddhist sect, and restore the supreme majesty of our demon race from ancient times.
Finally, the voice faded, leaving Sun Wukong lost in deep thought for a long time. 5-colored divine stone, earth attribute divine stone, Neja, great god Pangu, chaotic energy, demon race tribulation, the other 3 stones. Old Shah is dead. Baji's fate is unknown. Little White Dragon's situation is unclear. Master. Right, Master. Finally, after the shock and the flood of memories, Sun Wukong's numb brain thought of his master. It was Master who rescued him at the last moment. Gritting his teeth against the intense pain, racking his body, Sun Wukong stood up to check.
Well, luckily, Master is still here.
He struggled, almost taking a step, and resting for half a day, to reach Tang Sanzang's side. He checked Tang Sanzang's breath. It was faint, but present. Sun Wukong slumped to the ground, relieved, so relieved, Master wasn't dead, just unconscious. But then, Sun Wukong faced a dilemma. When it came to fighting, he wouldn't even frown. But saving someone, Sun Wukong truly didn't know what to do. Thinking it over, besides using his own blood, there seemed to be no other way. He slowly reached into his ear and pulled out a tiny golden needle. But Sun Wukong suddenly frowned, his little finger digging deeper. This time, a rake the size of an embroidery needle appeared in his hand.
Why is the fool's nine-toothed rake in my ear?
He immediately shook his head, not bothering with it, transformed the golden cudgel into a dagger, and forcefully slit his left wrist. A drop of blood like liquid gold slowly oozed from the wound and dripped onto Tang Sanzang's forehead.
Why has my blood turned golden? And it's so viscous? Only one drop came out, and no more, though the wound healed instantly.
Sun Wukong had no time to ponder this series of strange events. Watching the golden drop of blood merge into Tang Sanzang's forehead, Sun Wukong couldn't help but feel extremely nervous. He didn't know if this blood would work. He only knew his blood contained innate spiritual essence, and it seemed very effective when he saved Fan Xin, but he wasn't sure if it worked for saving people. Just thinking of Fan Xin made Sun Wukong's heart tighten, then slowly relax as he muttered to himself.
Even if the celestial court is occupied by Tathagata, the peaches of immortality are ancient spirit roots. Tathagata probably wouldn't destroy them. Right. He definitely wouldn't destroy the peach garden. Besides, apart from Baji and old Shah, probably no one knows about Fan Xin. It's okay. She must be okay.
Just as Sun Wukong was pondering, Tang Sanzang, who had been unconscious for a long time, suddenly opened his eyes. A dazzlingly sharp golden light shot out from his eyes. Although it vanished in a flash, its sharpness made even Sun Wukong wary. The first words Tang Sanzang spoke upon waking were,
"Wukong, stay away from me. The petals of conversion are about to evolve."